So now if I just like don't shoot them, you know I'm here? Hello there ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to The Gaming Definition. My name is James, and today my mission is to help get you your nuke, or more in general. There are going to be timestamps in the description linking to all the different sections of the video. We'll start off with class breakdowns, then we'll lead to gameplay breakdowns, and then of course a nuke breakdown. I'll be going over strategies, tactics, reasoning behind why I'm using certain perks, attachments, all that sort of thing. Anyway, there will be a little highlight reel at the start, and then of course the sponsored intro. Let's get on with it. Oh god. Oh god. Oh my god. Oh. This is a sponsored video.
Stop it.
Grab yourself some E-Advantage, a healthy alternative to energy drinks that is packed full of vitamins, minerals, and all you need to dominate the opposition. Use code TGD13 for 13.5% off. The first thing we're going to look into are the classes when it comes to nuke streaks and getting nukes. Here is the best class for me: class setup, gun setup, you name it. Now let's delve a little deeper, shall we? Here are the perks. I'm sure most of you know, but quick fix: the moment you kill somebody with your gun or anything like that, melee, throwing knife, you instantly start healing. On an objective, you heal a lot faster when you are healing, so you can make good use of this if you're rushing an enemy flag in ground war and there's many targets around and you're capping at the same time. You'll be able to survive quite a considerable amount more shots than you would normally. Combine this with stims, you've potentially got a hell of a lot of health. We'll get more into that later. Now if I'm wanting to stay alive, I'll have Ghost on by default. If you're using a suppressor on your class, it makes sense to have Ghost on to begin with, because if you don't have it on, then why are you using a suppressor? It doesn't really add up. Not really much else to say about that. As for tune-up, my class setups generally revolve around having stopping power rounds all the time. I've stopped using range boosting attachments as I don't see the need if I'm getting stopping power most of the time. Now, with tune-up, it's reduced by 40%, the charge up time is reduced by 40%, and I believe that stopping power recharges every 90 seconds. I'm not entirely sure on that, but we'll go with that anyway. Pretty much get it very quickly. But yes, I don't see a reason to use the other perks as they don't really fit the playstyle I'm going for. Battle Hardened is a good starter perk, but if you're confident you're going to be getting stopping power quite a lot and you're going to be going ham and have specialist bonus soon, I'd recommend starting. As for EOD, it's pretty much a necessity in ground war. Everyone's flinging C4s, frag grenades, semtexes, you name it. Claymores and prox mines everywhere. Prox mines aren't hard to get to dodge rather, but you still probably want this just in case you need to run straight past it. Restock, because I like to use stims to get around the map quicker. I'm always using it no matter what's happening. I'm always using stims at random points in time as it replenishes your tactical sprint, and I like getting around the map very quickly. Now, there is a glitch on the specialist bonus, or not a glitch rather, they've added this, which is incorrect. Because even without hardline equipped in your class, it's saying that you get it at 7 kills. You only get specialist bonus at 7 kills if you're using hardline, so there is a reason why I'm using it. Otherwise, if you get hardline in specialist bonus, it doesn't do anything, because hardline doesn't reduce the kills it takes to get nukes. So you want it in your class, either starting perk or the final unlock, so you get it in 7 kills instead of 8, as having specialist bonus ASAP really speeds up your gameplay. Now, you get a load of extra perks and stuff in the game, some perks that aren't specified, one of which is extra speed, so you do run faster, move faster, all that sort of thing when you have specialist bonus than you normally would otherwise. That is enough about the perks, I believe. We can move on to the lethal and tactical. I generally go for either C4 or proximity mines. C4 if I'm going to be right up in the enemy's face and I don't need to cover my flanks, and prox mines if I want to have a little bit of cover where my teammates aren't around me as much, and where I can just like focus on everybody in front of me in a 180 degree angle and just completely ignore everything going on behind. Proximity mines are very, very strong. They can kill loads of people. And for some reason in Ground War, people tend to not use EOD. So I definitely recommend making use of explosives in some way. And now here's the rather obvious choice. I go with stims because I'm always taking gunshots. I'm always getting shot at when crossing streets. You use this at a prime time and you can get back to full HP and survive in situations you otherwise would have died easily. I definitely recommend practicing with stims as they can really save your life, save the nuke streak, or just get you out of trouble. Anyway, a lot of people ask why I don't run secondaries and instead use the combat knife. Like most first-person shooter games, you run faster than anything else when holding a knife. You also have your tactical sprint for longer when you're using a combat knife, and that is perfect for me for A, getting out of really bad situations, B, getting into the enemy spawn to kill them all, flanks, all that sort of thing, and C, just generally getting around faster anyway. The one-hit kill potential of the knife is also pretty good as the melee is rather quick. You can find yourself just slashing 3 people instantly, whereas normally you'd be trying to gun them down and they might turn around and react to you. The knife is also quite quiet generally when you're using it, so if you don't have a suppressor on your weapon, this is a good choice to have. And if you're comfortable with your movement mechanics and just general reaction time, the knife is pretty good for you. Forward planning is essential when you're using it as it is slow to get the main weapon back out. Now here is my class setup for the AUG. I am rather confident with my recoil control, so I don't have any recoil suppressing attachment. At longer ranges, you definitely start to notice the sway, horizontal recoil, and all that sort of thing of the weapon. Also, I don't feel the need to use range increasing attachments on this gun, as stopping power rounds does enough of that as it is. Now, as I'm challenging pretty much everybody at all times, I'm going with the 60 round mag. This gives me the confidence to at least challenge 8 people per magazine. You can easily kill 10, maybe even 12 people with one magazine of this if your accuracy is on point, but generally speaking, having the confidence to just throw lead downstream is absolutely what you want with this gun. The 9mm rounds are pretty good, but they're not that great for ground war unless you're utilizing flanking tactics and only picking off 4 or 5 people per magazine. Try to engage more, you're going to need a lot of accuracy to win. As for the rest, it's pretty much self-explanatory. So anyway, that's enough reviewing my class setup. Anyway, the point of reviewing this class setup is that this gun, this setup all here fits my playstyle. I'm aggressive, challenging people head on, but I'm also going for flanks. Now, tactical suppressor again, keep you off the minimap. Anyway, let's move on to reviewing some of the gameplay. Anyway, moving on. In this gameplay here, I don't actually end up getting the nuke, but we're going to analyze it anyway. Could have definitely gotten it if I played this smarter. Now, first of all, I'm hyper after getting, what was it, just shy of 11 kills in quick succession, clearing both the lower level roof section and the top level roof section. Now, I soon realized that 8 players on the enemy team are all coming back to get me. They're not very happy that I showed them all up, taking them on my own. So instead of playing aggressively like I normally do, rushing straight in there head first, all guns blazing, you name it, like a bull in a china shop, shall we say, I decide I'm actually going to play in a way that I generally look down on. I'm going to sit up on this head glitch, I'm going to use the cover to my advantage, I'm going to challenge these players individually if I can. If I can challenge all 3 at once, I will do, as I do have the cover advantage. Having the high ground, as suggested by General Kenobi, is generally a very good idea in this game. When you have the opportunity to hit all parts of the enemy's body, whereas they can only hit your head, you become a target they don't really want to challenge unless they have a sniper rifle. Even then, it's going to take a well-placed headshot to get rid of you. Unless, of course, the snipers are BS and they have FMJ and they one-shot you to the But even so, here I realise they're all funneling back to me, they're not really challenging me head on, some of them are shooting back, however most of them are panicking thinking they can't kill me. This is a mistake on their part, because if all of them channeled fire together towards me, maybe some of them didn't know where I was, because I am using a suppressor, remember. But anyway, if they all channeled their fire towards me, they'd probably take me out, as all it is all 8 of them need to hit at least 1 shot each, not even that. And they will kill me. I won't have a chance to react. Anyway, what I should be doing right now is moving towards the ladder to cover it. I clearly can't handle taking on all 8 people at once consistently, I'm not doing too poorly taking them on, as the pressure is building for me, so staying calm, staying focused, and making sure forward thinking is my main focus is becoming increasingly difficult. I also have C4s at the ready, but I don't think about people potentially be on the ladder. I definitely should have considered that, as there are numerous ways to get onto the roof, and some of them are out of my field of view. But a major problem when you're going for nuke streaks is tunnel visioning, and that is something I do quite frequently. I play way too aggressive because I'm always going for the high scoring, extremely quick nukes, which generally require a lot of luck. The point of this is always stay on your toes, don't become complacent, don't tunnel vision. Always remember that you can get shot from any angle. If you're not covering something and haven't checked it for a while, check it. Otherwise you're going to be exposed and you potentially get flanked and die from behind. Now, moving on to a gameplay where I actually get a nuke. Here I am on Aniyah, same class setup as I showed at the start of the video. But this first streak here is exactly what I was just complaining about, that I do way too often. I get myself into dangerous scenarios for no reason at all, relying on just my aim, gun skill, whatever you want to call it, and hoping to get away with it. Now this isn't the case, this isn't always the case rather, as it's just generally luck that allows me to get away with these crazy sprees. Whereas you want to play it a little smarter than this, you want to challenge each person one by one. One-on-ones are generally quite easy to win, but when you're going 1v2, 1v3, the odds are against you. There shouldn't be a situation where you win unless you flanked them or caught them by surprise. Even then you're generally going to die. Anyway, my playstyle generally revolves around going from flag to flag, clearing up the enemies. I don't want to overstay at a certain flag position, because either my teammates will come up and cap it, therefore slowing down my nuke streak and reducing my opportunity to get kills, or B, the entire enemy team will focus their efforts on hunting me down and killing me. Now, when the enemies know your general positioning, they will start to use stun grenades, flashbangs, C4s and RPGs in your general direction. This can lead to you turning a corner into a load of explosives and boom, no chance to react, EOD won't save you here. Or it can just generally make it so you're in a very tough spot and you're not able to move. So constantly keeping on the move and not staying in one area for too long will generally keep you out of harm's way. It's just generally breaching and clearing when you think about it. Yes, it's all about overwhelming the enemy, being too fast for them, and keeping them on their toes. If they are confused and they don't know your position, they're not going to be ready to shoot you, are they? Now, it's also essential to learn the maps, learn the spots where players tend to camp, and then focus your rush routes on that. I always advise against taking the ladder on Aniyah Palace, but I took it here for some reason. Didn't get punished for it, but 9 times out of 10 you will get killed if you try and do the same thing. I generally run the same lanes each game as I know where people are going to be, pre-aim those spots and occasionally even pre-fire them. Pre-fire is kept exclusively for spots that I often lose to, as you don't really want to waste ammunition. Again, here's what we talked about earlier. My teammates, due to the fact that I've stayed around the C flag too long clearing enemies, my teammates have managed to take hold of it, which means there's not really going to be many enemies there, or at the very least they're not going to be spawning now because they've lost the spawn point. So rotating back to B is the best option. However, you've got to remember you're on your own when you're doing stuff like this. So I wouldn't recommend playing the way I do unless you are confident in your own ability. Again, me moving around the building quite a lot, the enemies are confused as to where I'm going. Even though I am sticking in one area, they're not exactly sure where I am because there's so many places in this building I could be hiding at. And as it's a position of high ground, I don't necessarily need to move away. So it's all about assessing the current situation you're in and going for the most optimal playstyle and choosing the most optimal position. Once the enemies stop coming your way or the kills start drying up, it's generally time to move on to a new location. Now here, as the enemies aren't really paying attention, I just start messing about. This is definitely not what you want to do on a nuke streak, but at this point I'm kind of a bit bored due to the lack of action that is occurring. I also notice a tactical insertion, but it's not really good to camp it. Attention, and of course as I've got a C4 on it for later, once I kill him I know he's going to respawn there, and boom, there's the tactical nuke. That's going on YouTube. Died. Where is he? Is that Spanish? Proper British. Or the angry Irishman there. No. Sounded more. Is there a load of people in my Twitch chat or something? I'm trying to record this tutorial. Anyway, in true James Gaming Definition fashion, we are putting the settings and sensitivity and all that at the end of the video because I do things back to front. That's what I'm like. Anyway, people always ask what my sensitivity is because they think because I get nukes, playing at my sensitivity will also allow them to get nukes. Now maybe that is true. Maybe if you use this sensitivity, you're going to love it. But generally speaking, for the common majority, finding the sensitivity that suits you on your own is always going to be better than using somebody else's. Sensitivity that I use might not be optimal for you. I'm almost entirely about the wrist aiming. Sometimes I transfer into arm and whatever you want to call it, using my whole arm. None of this really matters. Moving on to the graphics settings. I'm obviously at the highest refresh rate possible at native resolution, as any lower than native leads to a blurry, grainy image which you do not want to experience. Keep VSync off if you're on PC. Well, actually no, keep it off full stop. It's horrible. It causes input lag. It's just generally nasty. You don't want it. I cap my frame rate at a little bit lower than 240 Hz. So I don't ever hit 240 frames per second. But this means that my frame times are more consistent than if I was aiming for the highest frame rate possible on my card. All of the other settings are at lowest because I don't care how the game looks. I want it to run as smoothly as possible to get the best gaming experience. So yes, that is everything you really need to know. So there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That is my attempt at helping you to get a nuke. I hope you learned something, if anything at all. It's rather hard to give tips on getting nukes and stuff, as I have a specific playstyle which works for me due to my experience in game, so trying to cater that to everybody else has been a bit of a challenge. But nonetheless, I hope that you learned something. I hope it helps you get a nuke. If it does, please let me know, as the whole premise of this video is to help towards success. I've come to the realization that to get a nuke, you probably just need to get good. Nothing I say is going to help. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for wasting your time. Anyway, thank you all very much for watching, and thank you all for 50k subs. I can't believe we're here already. A Brazilian YouTuber called D Corvo gave me a shout out and reacted to one of my gameplay videos. So shout out to him. Thank you very much, man. I appreciate that. Anyway, have an absolutely fantastic day. Comment, rate, subscribe, all the usual stuff. Become a member for as little as $1.99 a month if you like. And I will see you in the next video.